Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Goddess, and if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Here I talk about my life in the UK as a nurse, lifestyle, nursing, relationships, marriage, dating, basically everything fun. So if you're new, please do subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always returning to my channel. I really love you guys, and I celebrate you as always. So about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I think so. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. So someone was in my DM on Instagram, and the person was like, it was actually a man, and he was like, please, Operative, can you make a video talking about jobs that dependent visa holders can do when they arrive in the UK? So I'm guessing he is a potential dependent visa holder, or probably he actually has a dependent visa already. So I actually told him I was going to make this video, and so this is why I'm making this video. You can already tell from the title, this video is all about jobs that you can do as a spouse of maybe a tier 2 visa holder or tier 4 visa holder, whatever visa your spouse holds at the moment. As a dependent, I'll be telling you the kind of jobs you can do. If you have any restrictions or not, I'll be sharing everything in this video, and of course how you can actually get jobs quicker as well when you arrive in the UK. And even if you're in the UK already and you're yet to get a job, I might just chip in one or two ways you can actually get jobs easily and quickly. So let's get started, guys. Before I move on, this video is actually for all forms of visa. So if your partner is on any kind of visa, so far you're like a dependent of that person who is holding like the main visa, you both are actually like entitled to almost the same privileges. In fact, the same privileges, honestly. You even have, as a dependent, you have better privileges than the main applicants or the primary applicant or the principal applicants. Really, you have more privileges, more benefits. So as a dependent visa holder, you really don't have any restrictions as to the hours you can work. You have flexible work options. You have flexible working hours. You can choose your working hours. Unlike, say, you're on tier 2, you actually have to work for 37.5 hours and you shouldn't exit that. However, the government has made it a bit flexible for us. You can actually do additional 20 hours per week. Now, I'm referring to people on tier 2 visa, especially those of us who work as medical practitioners. So you have 37.5 standard working hours per week, but then you can work for 20 hours extra per week, but you should never exceed the 20 hours. However, when the pandemic struck, when COVID-19 struck, a bit of adjustment was made to that rule. So now UK government actually allows us to work for unlimited hours. So there's really no restriction at the moment as to how many hours we can work. But before now, it used to be just 37.5 hours plus 20 hours extra for the main applicants or the primary applicants or the principal applicants, really, of tier 2 visa. However, our partners, our dependents, or our spouses can actually work for as many hours as they wish. They don't have any restriction. I mean, they have a lot of flexibility. They have a lot of privileges. I know for tier 2 dependent visa, the only thing you cannot do is you cannot work as a doctor or dentist in training. And this is because we are not entitled to public funds until we get our PR, which is also called ILR, which is indefinite leave to remain. So until you get your ILR, which is at the end of your 5th year in the UK, you are not entitled to public funds. So that is also why your spouse or your partner who is on the dependent visa is not allowed to work as a doctor or dentist in training, and also they're not allowed to work as a sport person. So those are the only 2 restrictions you have. Besides those 2 restrictions, as a dependent visa holder, you can do any type of job you want to do. You can work for any employer you wish. You can work for as many hours as you want to. There's really no restriction whatsoever. It is that easy. So you have even more flexibility than your partner. So that's that. And it's the same for tier 4 visa holders as well. They have a bit of restrictions as to the number of hours they can do. Because I know for students, you actually can't do more than 20 hours per week as well. But then your partner, your spouse, your dependents can actually work for as many hours as they wish. So that's one of the advantages, or one of the many advantages of being on the dependent visa category. So that's that about your privileges. So now let's talk about the jobs you can do as as a spouse or a partner of a tier 2 visa holder or tier 4 visa holder, or generally as a dependent, the kind of jobs you can do if you're like a dependent visa holder. Now, just like I said earlier, you can do any kind of job you want to do. But then when people move to the UK, because most employers would like to request for UK experience, I mean, I don't know why they ask for that every time. The moment you arrive, the only thing they keep asking for is UK experience, UK experience, UK experience. So it might be a bit difficult to, start working in the capacity you were working back home as soon as you arrive in the UK, especially if you're like a professional. So if you're like a professional, you're an engineer, you're a barista, you're professional, you're a medical doctor, whatever it is, or you're even a nurse, but because you're a dependent, as soon as you arrive in the UK, you're just like automatically expected to have UK experience. UK employers usually prefer people that have UK experience. So you might have that challenge at first. However, for some kind of jobs, you really don't need UK experience. They might ask you if you have, but they might not really be so adamant on you having UK experience for this kind of job. So I would mention this kind of jobs before I now go to like the core professional jobs. So I call these jobs transition jobs because this kind of jobs are usually done while you're still like very new in the country. You're not really like very stable yet. You've not found your footing yet. I mean, you're still writing some exams, you're still taking some tests, still doing some certifications for you to be able to work in your profession as a professional. So in the meantime, because you need to pay bills, you need to pay rent, you need to do few things at home, you need to support your partner, you may want to pick up this kind of jobs just in the meantime. Now, I call them transition. I know some people call them menial jobs, so I really don't like that word. I'd rather call them transition jobs. And the reason why I don't like to call them menial jobs or what other, people also call them odd jobs. I really don't like saying odd jobs or menial jobs because these jobs we're actually calling menial jobs are actually some people's like career. I mean, some people, this is actually what they do for a living. Like, they're not planning to leave these jobs. Like, this is like their own field. This is like their own specialty. Do you understand? This is like what they love doing. So for some people, this is actually their own career path. So if this is my career path and then you are calling it an odd job or a menial job, it can really, really sound so demeaning. So for me, I just call them transition jobs because I know a lot of immigrants do this kind of jobs while they are on the search for their, professional job. So let's go into these transition jobs. The first on the list, and I'm putting this first because I know that people easily get this particular job. They still ask for UK experience. Honestly, it's funny because this is categorized as a transition job, but they still ask for UK experience. But you might still be very lucky. A lot of times you'll still be very lucky to find an employer that will be willing to employ you in this capacity without UK experience. And this is because they usually offer trainings. And okay, so let me just go into, so this particular job is the HCA job, which is called healthcare assistant job. Some call it support worker job. It's actually in the same capacity or in the same category. So HCA job, healthcare assistant job, or healthcare support worker job, or carer, something in that line. These jobs are easily accessible. I know some employers will still insist on UK experience. Honestly, a lot of employers will still say, oh, so do you have UK experience? Once you tell them no, they're like, oh, we're so sorry, blah, blah, blah. But there's some agencies out there that they will be willing to train you. You will pay for training. They will be willing to train you, and then they will offer you the job as a support worker, a carer, or HCA. So that is a job that is easily accessible, and they also pay well. If you're the type of person that you don't like, you know how some people say, I don't like the smell of the hospital, I don't like blood, I don't like, if you just don't like the hospital environment, you don't like taking care of people, you don't like to do some things like cleaning people's, whatever, you guys know what I mean. So if you don't like things like that, if you get so irritated easily, you're like so irritable when it comes to urine, feces, changing bed sheets, you might not be a suitable candidate for this kind of job. Especially, I'm talking about the HCA job or carer job, because you will be needed. That's why they're employing you. They're employing you to assist nurses. So this is like your own responsibility, really. This is what you'll be doing. You're helping nurses to make their job easier. So you'll be required to actually do things like this. So that's that about the HCA job. Don't forget, it's also very flexible. You can decide to do maybe 3 long days in a week, like 12-hour shifts, 8 to 8, 7:30 to 7:30, 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. I mean, there are different versions. So you can do 3 long days in a week, and that will be all for the week. So you have 4 days to maybe start studying for that certification that will help you to get a job in your field as a professional. So I think it all depends on you. Doing this kind of jobs too, you can also save money to write exams, especially if your profession requires to take exams for you to be licensed in the UK. I have friends who are doctors but who are like dependents, like say their wife is a nurse. Their wife is also a doctor, but their wife was like the primary applicants when they moved to the UK. Some of them had to work as HCA while they were, writing their exams for them to become licensed in the UK. So there's really nothing wrong in doing these jobs. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, these kind of jobs are like some people's like job, like main job, full-time job, like their own career. Like they'll tell you, I work as a support worker. I'm a support so please don't look down on this kind of jobs. Please, honestly, don't look down on this kind of jobs. Well, you shouldn't stay on this kind of jobs too. Do you get? So it's like a means to an end. Anyways, that's that about HCA. The other job that I know that people find so quickly is also warehouse operative job. So you might hear people say, oh, I work as a warehouse operative. I work as a warehouse operative. What do they mean by warehouse operative? So working as a warehouse operative, what you basically do is you work as a sorter. Sometimes they call them sorters, sometimes they call them pickers. So you might hear someone say, I work as a picker, I work as a sorter, I work as a packer. It's still the same thing. So you work in a warehouse. Don't forget, in countries like this, people do mostly online orders. I mean, I can't remember the last time they actually walked into a store to buy stuff like, I mean, maybe like clothes, electronics, things like that. People still do, but a lot of people just place their orders online. So what warehouses do is they like collate or collect those orders. They manage those orders. So they pick those orders, arrange them, and then send them out for deliveries. So what warehouse operatives really do is that, so you can work in the capacity of an order picker or sortation. They also call them sortation operative. So you are the one sorting out the order. So say orders for TV, you'll be the one in charge of orders for TV. So all you do when you get to work is everything is actually digitalized as well. So it's like everything is like computerized. So you go to your computer, check the orders you have to arrange for the day. You have maybe electronics, but whatever it is. So, and that's all you do. And then they also make use of machinery. So it's not like you'll be carrying maybe like a 65 inches TV on your head and dragging it all around the compound. No, they use a lot of machinery to make the work very easy. Don't forget that in the UK, they are very safety conscious. They are safety conscious. So they will never tell you to do a job that you're not trained to do. For every job you get, you'll be trained properly. I mean properly. So don't fret, don't worry. Even if you work as a warehouse operative, you'll be properly trained. They will give you enough machines that would help you to do the job easily, because they also don't want you to break down at work. Imagine coming down with maybe musculoskeletal injuries from working with them. You could actually sue them if you eventually have an accident or injury at work. I mean, they are also protecting their business as well. So trust me, you are not going to get those kind of jobs and then you start having injuries and all that, especially because you'll be properly trained. And if you abide by all the safety mechanisms, the safety rules and policies, trust me, you won't come down with any injury or accident at work. You would have enough machines to work with and computers and all that. Another job you can do when you arrive in the UK newly as an immigrant or as a dependent visa holder is a sales assistant. So you can work in a retail shop. I know a lot of people who do this because it is also very easily accessible, this kind of jobs too. So you can work as a sales assistant in a retail shop, say like Primark, like H&M, like River Highland. I mean, a lot of retail shops out there, King of Trainers, a lot of retail shops out there are always looking out for sales assistants, Body Shop, Superdrug. There's always one vacancy or the other for sales assistants. So that would also be something you can actually search for online as well. Another job you can do as a dependent visa holder is that of a receptionist. I see that a lot online, and some of them don't require UK experience as well. So you might want to look into that. Receptionist for offices generally, like, so don't just be limited to receptionist for a particular company or a particular field. Generally, receptionist for offices, for organizations, that also, can be very readily available. Another job that is also very common, that you can pick up. I'm still under transition jobs. So another job that is also very common is the security job. And it's so funny because they actually pay security officers, a lot of money. They earn so well. So in fact, eventually you might fall in love with it and build a career in that, because eventually, especially when you have so much experience in that, you would get paid so much money. They earn a lot. Like, sometimes I look at the job description and the pay for security people, and guys, they earn a lot of money. So you may want to look into that as well. So another job that you may also want to maybe find out about, search on Google about, is also the domestic job. So we call them domestic, but it's the same as housekeeper or a cleaner. So don't forget the way we regard cleaners back home. The way people talk down on cleaners, blah 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 blah, treat them like they are nobody and all that. It doesn't happen here in the UK. So like I think I've mentioned it in one of my videos, everyone is respected here in the UK. No one is looking down on this person because this person, I mean, you would see a housekeeper or a cleaner driving a car. Like, the things that we take seriously back home don't even matter here. Like, everyone is equal, honestly. Like, you really can't differentiate between the rich and the poor easily here in the UK. So don't bother if you do this kind of jobs in the meantime. Don't forget you have a goal, you have a target, you have something you're pursuing. So this is just like a means to an end, like I said. So you can decide to pick up, I mean, for housekeepers and cleaners, I know, yeah, like I said, you would never earn less than £9 now that the minimum wage has been raised. So I know before now, I think housekeepers used to earn about £8. So but now it means that automatically you'll be earning like £9, thereabout. So that's also a very good job, and they're also very flexible. You can pick the number of hours you want to do, you can pick the days you want to do, you can even just do it part-time. You don't have to do it full-time, so you can do it part-time. So you can actually tell them, I want to work for this number of hours, I want to work on weekends alone, I want to work on weekdays alone. You can always decide how you want to work and when you want to work. So it may be something you want to actually think about, honestly. So the last job I will talk about under the transition jobs will be delivery person. I don't know how to put it, but people who do deliveries, yeah. So that job is also always very available. Don't forget, like I said, people make orders online. Nobody wants to go to a restaurant to sit and eat. I mean, even because of COVID, we're not even allowed to sit in a restaurant and eat. We all do takeaways. So these restaurants need people that would take those deliveries to people's houses, people's offices and all that. So the demand for this kind of jobs is also like very, very high. So if you have a license, especially a full UK driving license, then you should be cashing out on this. You can actually use your car for this kind of job. You necessarily don't have to use an official car, for that business. No, you can use your car. And so they pay you a certain percentage or commission for every food you deliver or for every parcel you deliver. But I know for restaurants, they are always in need, they're always in need of delivery people. So you might want to look into that, and that would be all for the transition jobs. For the professional jobs, I would just say that, because obviously I'm a nurse, I'm in the medical field, and my husband is an engineer. So from his own experience so far, what I would say is that if you're coming on a dependent visa holder, please, before you come, do your NARIC evaluation. I think NARIC now is ENIC. There used to be NARIC, which is like a body that does credential evaluation here in the UK. There used to be NARIC, but now they are called ENIC. ENIC. I'll put it on the screen. So before you come, get your transcript ready. Even if you don't have the funds, like the money to pay for the credential evaluation, just make sure you get a transcript before you leave your home country. So that once you come, maybe you pick up one of these transition jobs, you can afford to now start working on how you get a professional job. So first thing I would want you to do is get your credential evaluated. So when you get your credential evaluation with NARIC or ENIC now, what they do is they issue you a statement of comparability, meaning that they'll compare your own education with UK's with the same. So you have a bachelor's degree in engineering, so they will compare your own education in your home country with what another person who has a bachelor's degree in engineering in the UK would have. So that kind of comparing your home country's education with that of the UK and see if it aligns or if it's close or if it differs. So they will let you know. So if they feel like, oh yeah, with your level of education in your home country, you're at par with someone who graduated from the UK with the same certificate, then you'll be issued a statement of comparability. So with that certificate you get from NARIC, when you're applying for jobs, you can also add it to your credentials. That would give you an edge. It will give you an advantage, in the job market. So an employer wants to employ you, but they feel, oh, because you're from Nigeria, I'm just using Nigeria as an example because I'm from Nigeria. So they feel like, oh, she's from Nigeria, she doesn't have UK experience, no UK education, blah blah blah. But when they see the certificate, they're like, okay, even though she's from Nigeria, even though she schooled in Nigeria and all that, she's worked in Nigeria and all that, our education is still like at par with what we can find in the UK. So that gives them an edge. So please, if you're coming to the UK, try and get your NARIC credential evaluation ready, and that would actually give you an edge. Another thing I would mention is if you really want to work in your profession, like if you're a professional from back home, you're a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. I don't know why I keep saying engineer, maybe because my own spouse is an engineer, and I kind of understand how we went through the whole process as well. Please, when you come, get ready to do some certifications that will get you licensed in the UK. So it's also the same for me. I'm a nurse. I wouldn't just come from Nigeria and start working here as a nurse. It's never allowed. I had to take exams. I had to do the English test. I had to do their own nursing exam. In fact, 2 versions of their own nursing exams, one back home and one here in the UK, before I could get their license to practice. So it's the same for other regulated professions as well. So if you're a professional back home, moving to the UK, if your profession is also regulated in the UK, trust me, you would have to take certain exams, you would have to do some tests, you'll be required to do some certifications as well. So that is why when you're doing these transition jobs, start saving and start preparing yourself for those exams that you'd be required to take, so that you can now work in that same capacity you were working back home as a professional. So that's what will be needed. If you're able to take those exams, take those tests, do those certifications, trust me, it will be very easy for you to get a job in the UK as a professional, in that same field, in that same capacity that you were working back home. So that's what I would admonish you to do. That would really, really help. So lastly, what I would say about getting a job in the UK as a professional is that don't be scared to switch your profession, or don't be scared of a career switch. So okay, a friend of mine was telling me recently she's planning to relocate to the UK, and I was so excited when she told me that even though she's into real estate in Nigeria, she's planning to move over to the UK and do certifications in social work. She wants to become a certified social worker. So don't be afraid to do a career switch, like especially if your career back home is not really like lucrative here in the UK. Not even lucrative, say it's not even recognized in the UK. Like there's some careers that are not really recognized, or even recognized but not in the same capacity that you were doing it back home. Don't be too rigid. That's what I would emphasize on. You have to be very flexible so that you can easily switch your career. You may not even switch totally, but you may do something very close to what you were doing back home, very close to what you were trained to do, but in a little bit different way. I don't know if you would really understand what I'm trying to say. Just be flexible. Don't be very rigid. So if back home you were working as you're working as, say, you were into real estate, and then you're here in the UK and you're like, I have to be in that same field. I love selling houses, I love selling lands and all that. You may want to just consider a bit of switch in that regard. You may still end up doing things related to that, but not like you're still selling houses and selling lands and property like that. So please be flexible enough. Some people totally change their career, and the sweet thing about career change in the UK is you don't even have to go to school all over again. So it's not like, oh, because I want to go for a career switch, then I have to go for another bachelor's degree or another master's degree. No, a lot of professions in the UK will only require you to do certifications and have experience in that field. So just do 1 or 2 certifications in that field that you love, but you don't have qualification in that field, but you really love the field. Do certain certifications in that field and then try and get UK experience in that field, and that will be all you need. You may not even need a bachelor's degree in that field. You may not even need a master's degree in that field. I'm saying this from experience, so don't be so fixed on doing what you were doing back home. You may want to consider a career switch, and there are a lot of job opportunities. I mean, good jobs that are so lucrative, but because people are like, oh, back home I was working as a nurse, when I come here I have to work as a nurse, or back home I was an engineer, so when I come here as an engineer, you might be working. In fact, I know someone who studied political science back home. Like, she studied political science in uni. Now she's into HR. I mean, now she's doing so well in HR, but all she had to do was just take certifications. Of course, those certifications at that time were so expensive, and even now they're still very expensive. I think she did some CIPD courses. If I remember the name, I'll put it on the screen. You may want to explore that. I don't know who I'm speaking to. You may want to explore that. So don't be so rigid, like, oh, back home this is what I was doing. Imagine if she was like, oh, because I studied political science, coming here I have to work in that same capacity. It doesn't work that way. Please, it doesn't work that way. So be flexible enough to consider a career switch. You may even want to go into HR. I don't know why I'm mentioning this. Maybe this is just for someone. So I might just put the name of the certifications you can go for if you actually want to consider a career switch into HR. Of course, you will need money. So that is why you may want to do these transition jobs for some months, so that you can save some money and then do these certifications and just get some experience. And then, yeah, you start cashing out, you start cashing out big time. So please, I feel you should just be flexible enough to consider a career switch. I'm saying this because a lot of people come here and they don't find the same kind of job they were doing back home. Have you thought of switching your career? Please do. So that might just be all you need to do. Anyways, guys, I don't want this video to be too long. If you have further questions, please drop them in the comment section, or maybe just send me a DM like the guy did some weeks ago. I'll leave my IG handle here. Just shoot me a DM, on IG, and I will definitely respond. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you're yet to subscribe, you really need to subscribe. So please subscribe to my channel. You want to give this video a thumbs up. I know you want to actually share this video. Yeah, you want to share this video with your loved ones, your friends who are planning to relocate to the UK. And yeah, just show me some love, subscribe, click on the notification bell as well, so you'd always be notified when I put up videos on my channel. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.